That's right, everybody. It's Big Bear Lake in the background there. And we are at the end, or what you would say is the start, of the bike path. As I just came from this direction, and we're going to go the length of it all the way down, which is basically the north side of Big Bear Lake. This is the Alpine Pedal Path, is what that said. And as already, having gone down about, I'd say half the distance we're going to go in the entirety in this video, which will probably take us, I would say, somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 minutes, is my guess. We'll find out. But the surface here for the rollerblades, not ideal. Not ideal at all. Actually, I did a lot of jumping over rocks and sand patches. So this is more almost a hybrid paved path mixed with you're just going to get blown over stuff. So your rollerblades will stop, and I had to do a lot of jumping. And so I can't go that fast, no backwards. There's certain precautions you got to take. And one of the ways that you kind of help yourself if you start to lose is you do what I do here, which is put 1 foot up, lifting 1 foot up for a lot of my coasting when I'm unsure of what the ground is going to do. Because if you do that, as soon as you hit some rocks or some sand and things stop, this top wheel here will start to hit the ground first and hopefully get roll and get traction. And if not, you're prompted to jump and start hopping and do what you do if you were running fast and your rollerblades were not wheeled and had all of a sudden a ton of friction, which is what happens. So it's the balance between going from almost no friction on the roll, which is fantastic, especially when you have gravity on your side, and a ton of friction when you're in a substance that doesn't respond to the roll. So anyway, that's a quick explanation of how you handle a path like this up in Big Bear Lake. But still, I mean, gorgeous weather. Feels like it's maybe like 79, like 1 p.m. today. And so anyway, what else we want to talk about? There's a lot to discuss. I know there's sand everywhere. That's the beauty of mapping this and doing this once is like I'm gonna have to jump randomly where there's shade sometimes is where it is, and I would have stopped right there so you don't go fast, and that's how you do this. So hopefully this can reduce your blood pressure watching this on a big screen. Not make you sick if I hold the phone right. Good times. It's a mountain getaway. The temperature up here, you're just at a weird elevation of like 8,000 feet or something, I think. And you do feel it when you're up here, especially coming from the ocean. But it's only like 2.5 hours. It's not that bad, although there can be traffic and issues going up and down a mountain, especially with weather conditions in the wintertime, because you're going to be skiing up here and not just rollerblading. This area's a mess. Yeah, total sand right there. Do not want to hit that stuff fast. Get ready to jump. So you've got an interesting setup in Big Bear where they've got just enough to support what really is like under 12,000 people with Big Bear City and Big Bear Lake. Certainly, you're looking at like 5,000 residences or something like that, I think. It's got that small town appeal and close to such populated areas with almost drastically different weather. It is drastically different weather. So fascinating. It's one thing I love about the West is that you're only a few hours away from the top of some mountain or some waterfall or some, 10 out of 10 national park. It's just not that way on the East Coast. It's more historical, but less nature-derived exceptional beauty. And we gotta hop this. Ooh. Yep, do not. See, the biker here can do it. I cannot. Although I have seen, I've been checking out other rollerbladers on YouTube. And first of all, I was thinking there's hardly anybody doing rollerblade videos. Boy, of course you're wrong. Everybody's already doing everything. And so I was looking, and there are new types of rollerblades now that have 3 wheels, and they're bigger. And I can see how when you already know how to skate with an inline skate, how a bigger wheel, one, it'll hop over these kind of things with more ease, and things won't get stuck in between the wheels as much, because you'll have a larger, I guess, diameter pushing it around. So I understand that. Seemed really intriguing. I think it's called Powerline or something. I'll plug them in the videos, and I'll probably end up picking up a pair. I know there's some of these that are doing Kickstarters and aren't huge companies yet, but there are also other ones where, you know, you can purchase something. Because I've taken apart and put together skates years and years and years ago. Know kind of how they're constructed, and there's a lot you can do, and it's just where you're retransitioning your balance that matters. So I can definitely see the benefit of 3 larger wheels. Oftentimes wish I had larger wheels. Never wish I had smaller wheels on here. Ever. So we're rolling around the north side. There's gradual grades because the topography up here is so active, and I mean, I've been pulled over on a mountain road pushing boulders off of the road before leaving Big Bear. This place is actively a geologic entity in itself. So yes, on this bike path, essentially this alpine path, you've got interesting gradual grades, even though they're trying to keep it around the lake as flat as you can get. But makes for a nice moderate workout in both directions. That's what it does. Whew. I think I'm gonna get some downhill. I think most of the worst of the dirt and stuff is gone, if I remember correctly. But you gotta be on your toes. Or not on your toes, I was joking around, not on your toes. Having one toe up. Feels good. I mean, real nice gradual downhill. I'm probably going like 13 miles an hour. Oh boy. Oh. Yes, you gotta watch. You can't do that. That was an evasive maneuver because I didn't know what I was getting into there, and I did not want to have a dead stop at that speed. So let's remember to be safe. But when we need to, we do something like we just did. So the problem is shaded areas. I mean, not knowing what's there. Plus, there's going to be a wooden. There's going to be a bridge also. Two bridges, if I remember correctly, at least. Yeah, keep it calmer. Plus, I think the video is much better when I'm going slower. Just a whole lot of what looks like dignified trees that lived long lives and eventually succumbed to some snowstorm and some lightning strike. It's got that old Wild West appeal. I know they filmed a lot of movies up here. It's actually, this I believe is somewhat of a movie town. From everybody I've talked to when we've been out, a lot of the longtime locals have said that, you know, there's actors and actresses that got homes up here. People shot many movies up here. I've seen one of the bars, at least one of them, where it's got all these heirlooms of actual things in movies that you would recognize because of the proximity to Hollywood, essentially a couple hours away, and that little bit. So you see how the landscape feels oldie and westerny. They do it right, and boy, are you sheltered, right? There's up the mountain and down the mountain. So 2 completely different environments. Don't think of it as 30 miles. Think of it as the summit of a mountain. That's the way you got to feel about it. Meadow VIPs. Well, look at that, right? Almost makes me want to go backward when I said I wouldn't. I mean, there you go. There's a ski mountain up there. Beautiful. You need that mountain air, you need to get out, get some sun. Like, this is right up your alley. Get your boat out there. Surprisingly large lake. It's kind of weird how this thing is maintained. So it's a man-made type deal, and it's using human ingenuity and brains to create this and maintain it. And it's as we should be doing with water. I mean, Bureau of Land Reclamation, right? We need to reclaim what we need. Get another bridge here. Good picture, honey. So now we're getting to the part where I believe I haven't gone west or east in a long time. So let's try it. Now here I haven't been on the rollerblades before, so we'll go a little slower than normal because we're exploring. Awesome, isn't it? It's pretty sick. So here you got more dirt. You gotta watch out here. Clearly everybody enjoying the bikes. And not a single person on rollerblades. You're not gonna see anybody on rollerblades except for me here. That's for sure. Especially without... Yeah, because it's clearly, if you don't know how to deal with rocks and random dirt, you're gonna go down. But it's super enjoyable for me because, got a little bit of that Tony Hawk instinct. Some of the reason why I like doing this, and I mean, it makes me kind of keep feeling young. I had a job when I was like 16, I think, where, which is amazing if they'd hire me for that, where I was doing this in Washington, D.C., and taking the metro in there and had a walkie-talkie, and I would pick up packages and run them around DC on my rollerblades because it was faster than the metro. But you're dealing with DC drivers, uneven streets, and just right? Like crazy. Like there was me and a couple bikers. There weren't many rollerblade guys, but I was good enough to do it. It was a thrill to run and get paid to rollerblade essentially aggressively around the district. That was fun. Well, so as I, am 43 years old now. There we go, nice bikes. I'd watch out though on their dirt. I mean, I don't know how those things handle dirt, but when you hit dirt and rocks, I think you might go flying on one of those. And they got to watch that the same way I'm watching it with the rollerblades. Even though those tires are bigger. Because at sand, especially sand, you will slip on those kind of tires in sand, absolutely. Anyway, so I feel young again when I'm out here aggressively rollerblading the USA. Not necessarily aggressively. Enjoyfully. So you're getting down, I mean, this I don't know how many miles this lake is. Every lake is bigger than you think for some reason. So what you end up getting down to when you hit this very easternish, southernish point, but really more eastern. At the edge there's a pathway, and then there's some housing, and then the stores and town and stuff starts on the north side of the lake, on the other side there. And really the south middle point essentially of the lake, I feel like that's where the hub of the downtown is. So we're not exactly on the other side of it, but kind of almost, sort of. But there's much more of the lake down there. So it's kind of distorting. So how does this go? I mean, there's like additional paths. We're gonna keep going until we hit a place I recognize. Because I think that's the extent of the entire Alpine path, and I want to do the entirety of it. Let's get a look at everything. Too rocky for rollerblades here. So coming down that hill, got to slow down on the way back. People, I don't know what kind of fishing going on here. I'm sure you probably have to throw everything back. I have no idea. I know they are certainly keeping track and taking care of what's parked up here and going in and out. I know there's like botanical checks and stuff like you'd have. Barnacles, sorry, not botanicals. Botanicals are shampoo. Barnacles. Barnacles. All right. I feel like we're getting close, because that looks like the end, but let's just get there. Yeah, now I think we're approaching the end where we would hit town. We'll get the last overlook on the bridge here. It's a bridge, but it's at the bridge right at the end of the marsh of the lake. Right here. What do we got here? See, I slow down so that when something weird like that happens, you got bikers. Even though I'm in the wrong lane, I'm slow enough at understanding what I'm doing enough to be able to, go in the proper direction, be safe with it. And here is where we are. Cool, right? Ending it with a hockey stop. All right, guys. So that's Big Bear Lake. The actual lake, the Alpine Path, it really, I believe, ends over there. And I mean, gorgeous day, gorgeous run, gorgeous ride. Beautiful town. I got a thumbs up when it comes to Big Bear Lake. That's Rollerblade USA.